David, Serio. All right, we're just about there, Dave. We are waiting for Instagram to gear up. There we go. Okay. Good morning.
Morning,
Let's
Joe.
go! Dave, wait, I'm hungry. I need a snack. How do I introduce my buddy Dave? Dave's like a brother to me. And there were a few people going through chiropractic school who just made it okay to be there. And I have such clear memories of walking by Dave, and I remember you in a blue coat. And you'd be like, Jody, what the hell is going on? You and Aaron and, a couple, and you're still one of those people. And one of the things I love most about you is how authentic you are and how committed to chiropractic you are. So please just give your best shot at introducing yourself. Who are you? Where are you? What do you do?
Jody, this has been a journey with you. So one of the things I remember about you first is I always knew if I see Jody, she's always positive, radiating love, and just gave tremendous hugs. So that's what I want to say about you. I think we're brother and sister because we're both from New Jersey. So let me start there.
Yeah.
New Jersey
That's
is
why we're brother and sister, because we're both from New Jersey.
And we love chiropractic. So I grew up in New Jersey. I'll make a long journey short here. I grew up in New Jersey, didn't know anything about chiropractic. My first experience, my friends brought me to see it. I'm like, I'll never go to a chiropractor in my life. It looked so brutal. And I'm like, that's it. I go on my way, study business, having a great life. Then I basically went to a chiropractor out of desperation, and something shifted inside of me. I said, this is my purpose here, and ended up at chiropractic school. And I was planning on practicing in Florida or Puerto Rico or somewhere with the beach. And last month at school, I saw some Argentines that I knew, came to visit Argentina, and said,
Right.
this is just tremendous. They're 8 hours away from Miami, and there's literally, it was at like 8 out of 10 people never heard about chiropractic. So I just went on a journey from there, landed in Buenos Aires, not speaking Spanish, and within about 5 years grew one of the biggest practices in Latin America. And it was challenge after challenge to get there, but all the most beautiful learning lessons in my life came from that place. And in 2014, I started a worldwide group of chiropractic centers, and we're now 39 in 5 different countries.
That's incredible, Dave.
I'm a
What
father.
do you think it was?
I'm a husband, 18 years married, and I have a beautiful daughter that's going to be 17 in June.
Your girls are so beautiful, and please hug them for me. Okay. Tell me what you think it was when you were like something switched when you got your first adjustment. What was that? Tell us more about that.
Oh yeah. So Jody, I was a competitive skier in college, and I hadn't skied snow skiing, and I hadn't skied a long time. And I went skiing on a weekend. I skied like like I was in college again, and on Monday I couldn't walk, right? So I'm thinking, okay, what are my options here? Because I didn't know anything. So I'm like, okay, I'm probably going to get cut open if I go to a medical doctor or filled with injections or whatever.
You couldn't walk because of your back? Like what?
Yeah. I skied so hard on Monday, I literally was bedridden, right? I couldn't get up. I couldn't get out of bed. And my buddies at work at the time were like, hey, we have a chiropractor, you need to go see him. So I said, okay, let me try this. And literally had to be carried in by 3 big guys. Like I literally couldn't walk. I got my first adjustment and they carried me out. It was a spring day in New York. And I remember I was right next to the Flatiron building, right? And I still had the same pain. I couldn't walk. I said, leave me on the street here. And I plopped down. And I was like, it was almost like I was illuminated, like what is this, right? And I just saw people walking by, and I'm like, I felt this connection to everyone. And I'm like, I have no idea what this is, but this is like the best drug I ever experienced, and this is natural, right? And I'm like, I want to do this with my life. So within a few weeks, Jody, you know how it is. All of a sudden, I knew no chiropractors, and all of a sudden, I start meeting chiropractors at parties.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and look, over the course of about a month, my pain went away, and I don't know if it would have went away anyway, but something really spiritually, emotionally, mentally shifted so deep within me.
Right.
And I just basically, I was engaged at the time to get married. I had a great career path, and I left everything. And I
Right.
basically started from zero and went to Life College.
I'm at the point now, Dave, where when the back goes out and they have to see a chiropractor, or the baby is breech, or whatever the reason is that brings them in, I feel like it has to be that loud to get them to give themselves permission to go be served. And depending on whose office they walk into and what table they land on, it could very well change their life that moment. That's a big pressure, And I feel like the more I can stay connected to, like, that's how big what we do is, in my opinion. And I never know who's going to get it. I never know. Like, I'll set the perfect stage for the perfect experience of someone's world to be freaking rocked by an adjustment, and they'll be like, yeah, my back still hurts when they sit up, where the person I'm least expecting it comes back to me and says, whatever you did changed my life. Everything is different for me. So talk to me about how you stay connected to that day-to-day, hour-to-hour in practice, that purpose of serving for service sake.
Amazing question. Let me finish this real quick. So I ended up transferred to Sherman, and that's where we met, and that's where I graduated, right? So, okay, this is a great question, Jody, because for me, I was not educated. My first chiro, the first adjustment I got, he didn't explain anything. On the opposite almost, right? Like, I had no idea what it was. So what that did for me, Jody, was, okay, every second of every day, whoever's on my table, I need to be there. I need to be connected. That is your responsibility that I have to prepare. I can't just get up, drink a coffee, eat a donut, run to practice. No, I have to have serious preparation, meditation, yoga, whatever I need to do for me to walk in there. And for 4 or 5 hours, I mean, I would do 6-hour sessions, Jody, and you have to be there every second. You can't be gone for 1 second, because maybe that person is the person that never going to have this experience of, wow. And that's it. You maybe have one chance and they'll never go back to a chiro.
You say, you've written a couple books, right? This is a really good one because JD's in this one. Oh, and it's about the principles of chiropractic, whatever. And you say in here, the key to check people on a regular basis for vertebral subluxation when needed, adjust and teach them the 33 principles. Teaching them the principles of chiropractic will provide a framework to shift consciousness. You guys, this might sound really strange to you, but these words are true. This is how we empower people and how we develop logical, deductive life paradigms. Understanding Principle 6 brings empathy to honor that everyone will evolve at their own pace in this paradigm shift. Talk to me more. Give me more on that.
Yeah, Jody. So, we left chiropractic school and we were like, we're going to change the world. And we were so fired up. And when I got in practice, I realized not everyone is going to get this the first day. Many chiropractors never even get it, right? So it gives us this empathy to say, everyone's at their own pace. Some are going to get it, some are not. Some are going to come in and they're going to leave your practice. They're going to come back years later. But what I found, Jody, is this. The adjustment and the analysis of subluxation, one part of our service, but then the other part is opening their consciousness. BJ talked about the greatest subluxation was above Atlas, and how we do that is to share this different paradigm of life. So if they have just adjustments without understanding the paradigm of life, maybe they come into you for a long time, but they never make any shifts in their consciousness and their decision making because they're still maybe looking at life from one perspective, right? So this, I think, is a huge responsibility in our practices. And really, Jody, what fired me up was people coming in and say, Dave, I don't know if it was the adjustments or learning the principles, but I quit my job. Like, I realized that was a huge interference and it was making me miserable. And I don't know what did it, learning the principles and connecting with that or the adjustment. But all I know is I'm going to go study nutrition because that's my purpose in life,
Right.
or I'm going to go do this. Even Jody, this is amazing. I remember in Sherman, there was a poster that said families that get adjusted stay together, right? Or something like that. I had a ton of people divorcing in my practice because they were miserable and they're like, dude, I don't know what you did. My CA used to be like, we need a divorce attorney here, like to send them, because they would be like, dude, I don't know. After learning the philosophy and getting clear, like my relationship is not working, right? And I'm miserable and I can't make it work. And it's like, and the bottom line, Jody, is this: it connects us to our true self, our true nature, and what's really going to be in harmony with us. That doesn't mean that it's all going to be roses in the path of chiropractic over a lifetime.
Right. So how do you I want to go to the joy of practice, right? And
yeah.
say you had too little sleep, maybe you drank too much, maybe you got in a car accident over the weekend or whatever it is, you're in a crappy mood, you're going in to serve, you got 100 people on your schedule today because that's the kind of thing that you do. How do you show up, suit up? Talk to me about living everyday life and having this huge calling, which is truly what you do, Dave. What if you're having a crappy day? How do you do it?
I'm going to share probably the best example of this. When I was just getting busy in practice, was my first day of 100 people. I got a call 1.5 hours before from my father that my brother had died in an accident. So he says, your brother died in a car accident. And now I'm in Argentina and they're in New Jersey. So I booked my flight and it's in 2 days. There was nothing for that day. So I said, if I stay home, I'm going to go nuts. Let me lose myself in service. And this is the key, Jody. You walk in and you serve people, and it's the most healing energy for ourselves, right? So it's real simple to me. If you're alive, you're going to have crappy days. You're going to get a little argument with your husband. Maybe you got to go to work. Your kids are late for school, whatever the deal is. You're in traffic. Maybe you didn't sleep good. You go in that practice, you shut the door and you focus on serving people. Everything shifts instantly, right?
Yeah.
And you're present. It's so
truthfully
simple.
Nothing shifts. Our perspective shifts. We shift.
Exactly.
And it's like you just change the channel, right? And now I'm of service instead of being of Jody. And I'm every day, probably at least a dozen times a day, I have to get out of my own way. And I feel like I have multiple tables going, I'm there for 2 hours. I want to serve a lot of people in a 2-hour period. I can't be in my own way. It will not work. Right? How do you teach that, Dave? How do you teach that to a new doctor or a doctor who's miserable in practice?
For me, Jody, there's also tools. Obviously, getting chiropractic on a regular cares, right? But for me, meditation helps a lot. My assistants could tell, like, you meditated today, you didn't meditate. That helped me a lot, Jody, stay present and also being busy, right? If you have time in between people, it's easy. Oh, I'm going to go on my phone. Forget it. You're done, right? Done. Like, being busy for me. So how do you teach this? You show them by example. The best thing for me, Jody, was come and follow me around for 3 hours and stand next to me while I see 100 people, right? Like, okay, you're going to understand what it really takes physically and mentally and
Right.
emotionally.
How do you remember? I mean, so we're moving into a different part of this conversation, talking about high volume, right? I've
Yeah.
never had a high volume practice. I think that I would be hiding in a closet somewhere people in a day. But how do you remember what you need to remember with 100 people in one day? How do you do it literally?
Yeah, well, Jody, first, I don't think there's any rules. Like the key is like this: if you don't want to see high volume, but the key is to have people on your table at all times. I think so. You're not like, okay, I have 10 minutes open. Now I'm on my phone. My mind goes somewhere. It's like keep that rhythm, whatever rhythm's good for you, right? And for me, the rhythm, not now at this point in my life, but before was if I don't see a lot of people, I'm bored out of my mind. So how do I remember? At least this is the answer for me, Jody. I don't forget anything in practice. It's like I have this photographic
Right.
memory in practice. In my personal life, no, I'll forget everyone's birthday. I maybe lose the key to my car to like 20
Right.
times a day, but in practice, it's like you change your hairstyle, I'm gonna notice like one hair's out of like Jody. Oh, you changed your hairstyle.
Did you have to figure out how to do that, or that was a gift that it was a gift that you had?
It's living in the present time consciousness and observing more than you're not Jody a spine, you're Jody a human being, right? And so it's observing your face, like understanding how's the tone of Jody's face shifting over time. Okay, Jody, you changed your hair, you look great, like those. And people used to tell me, Dave, I want the chiropractor like you that noticed when I changed my hair even a little bit, because now how is you paying attention to my system, right?
Right.
That's what I want.
Staying connected. And I talk a lot about this, Dave, about how important it is that I don't have an agenda in my office. And when I was new in practice, I had an agenda where everybody who left my office had to know what a subluxation was. And you don't get it yet. You didn't pass the test. You don't leave the office. And now I feel like people come in with their agenda, meaning they need to be heard. They need to tell me about their headache or their baby's position or the poop color or whatever it is. And who am I to make them wrong to tell me about? Okay, go ahead and tell me whatever it is that you want to tell me. Let me hear it. Let me listen to you. Let me be a sounding board for you. Great, face down. And that right there took me 10 years to learn.
Me too. I do it a little different, Jody. Jody, I used to be like, oh, you're telling me about your pain? I'll check you. You'll come
I
back.
don't want to hear it. Come back when you're not talking symptoms.
Yeah, Jody, I was like the worst. Like people would literally walk out and be like, oh, he kicked you out today, or like you gotta come back, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, and here's what I do, Jody. I say you can tell me whatever you want, but after I check you. So I want to check you without having anything in my head, and then after you could say whatever you want. Now, my answer to you is probably going to be a question for you to think about or to empower you.
Right.
It's always going to be a chiropractic answer. You can ask me whatever you want. What color should I paint my room? I'm going to give you a chiropractic answer, right? I'm not going to give you an answer from David. You're getting a chiropractic answer, but yes, 100%.
What are you positive of? What do you know for sure?
This is awesome. I tell all the chiropractors that work with me, I'm like, chiropractic obviously is not a belief system, but you as a practitioner have to be sure about something.
Right.
And so for me, it's like this, Jody. You come into my universe, I can guarantee you something's going to transform in you. The longer you stay with me, the longer you're going to transform. And I want to give you a story about this. There was a guy that came into my practice a long time ago, and he said, I'm not committing to any plan of care. I'll come whenever I want. And I said, that's not how I work. When you're ready to commit, because I'm responsible for your subluxation. When you're ready to commit, come back. The guy comes back 8 years later and he says, you changed my life completely. I had no consistency in my relationships, in my job, in anything. Now I'm ready. And I'm like, that's my 100%. I know for sure. You come into my universe, you're never going to be the same. You stay with me, you're going to keep transforming, right? My whole life, my highest value is evolution, right? So that's what I'm doing for myself constantly. I want to do that for others.
That's why you love me, because I'm constantly evolving.
Yes. What's yours?
What am I sure of?
Yes.
Love wins.
Amazing.
Always. Duh. No matter how much I don't want it to, in some egotistical moments, it always wins.
Yes, and that's why I love you, Jody, because we had a conversation yesterday. I'm like, you're on another level right now, like just constantly evolving, you know. And actually, I told my wife the other day, I said, you know, we went to school with a lot of people. A lot aren't even chiropractors now. Forget about ones that love what they do, right? And there's so few. And you're one of them that went out. I always knew you were going to build a tremendous practice in impact chiropractic. And it's like, there was zero doubt of that. Zero doubt.
You know what's so funny is when I went on my externship, this is a true story, Dave. The person that I externed with, she had me like running errands and taking out trash and going to Burger King for her staff. And I was like, but I want to learn how to adjust people. And she's like, you don't deserve to learn how to adjust people. She went back and told them that I don't deserve to be a chiropractor because I gave her pushback. And I was like, I want to learn how to address subluxation. I want to learn how to adjust. That's what I'm doing here. And before I graduated, they told me that I didn't deserve to be a chiropractor. And I said, you have no idea the vision that I have for this profession. And I'm not going to stop until I fulfill on it. And I would say I would say things like this over and over because as I did write in this book too, I contributed to it. And I talked about how I grew up in chiropractic knowing nothing but the sacred truth, right? Knowing nothing but above, down, inside out. That's how I learned. I didn't learn chiropractic a different way and then learn this. I learned this and then learned that there was a different way. So it's like I'm like an OG of philosophy in the way that I grew up in chiropractic. And it always comes my way of stepping in. People either freaking love it or hate it. And if they hate it, I'm like, bring it on. Let's go. Right. If they love it, I'm like, cool, lock arms with me. And I feel like the people like you and Wade and Joshy Siegel and Michael Crouch and Michael Sarnoff and Liza and all of these brothers and sisters that we have in chiropractic, we know to lock arms. We know that we're in it. And this isn't a choice, it's a calling. And I guess I want to pivot to that. I want to pivot, and no matter whoever's listening to this, like, yes, we love chiropractic. That's who we are. But if you're not a chiropractor or you're not in this place where you love chiropractic and you are a chiropractor, that's what your license says. Listen to the way that Dave answers this question. Okay. For those people who are not loving it, who are not on the joy journey as in service, what do they do? Where do they start, Dave? What if they wake up and their first thought is, how am I going to get through today? Or I don't know how I'm going to pay my mortgage this month. Or, God, do I need to find another modality to add to the menu? Maybe that's going to do it. What do you say to them? Where do they start?
I love your questions. Okay, so the first thing, Jody, is this. The way I look at chiropractic is it's my vehicle to serve humanity, right? It is the vehicle I have to serve humanity. So whether you're a dentist, a doctor, a chiropractor, I think the first key to understand is before even what you're doing in a profession, understand that for some reason, this chose you to be a vehicle to serve humanity, right? So once you understand, wow, I have this tremendous service to humanity is the greatest energy that we can have to
And
vivify
it's
our
nothing
life.
less than that.
No,
It's
no.
nothing less than that.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a profession, right? I forget about that. This is the way I get to serve humanity, right? So, and so if you can shift that viewpoint, and obviously there's a business to all this that we have to learn, right? It took me a long time to understand that as well.
Right.
So, but if we can shift over to, wow, this is a privilege. I get to serve humanity with this great gift. The rest starts to take care of itself. But also, if you're confused about what that service is, then there's easy ways to get clarity by surrounding yourself with people that do have clarity, right? Because
Right.
in all these professions, there's a lot of uncertainty and unclarity. So then that allows you to start having this vision, and from that place, everything starts to shift. And for me, Jody, it's simple. Success leaves clues, right? So all of our mentors, Jody, that were like, wow, why are these people so alive and vital and happy and connected? I just need to follow what they have. And that was, purpose and mission and vision and service.
Certainty.
Certainty.
Wow, that's the word right there. My buddy Russ Rosen talks about the importance of certainty. And I talk about this too. Like if Sally comes in and she says, well, how long am I going to have to come? And I say to her, I want to see you twice a week for the next year. Silence. I'm sure of that. As opposed to, well, I think if you could come, I know it's going to be expensive. I know it's going to, if I'm sure, she's sure. As long as I'm sure, but if I'm not sure, I'm learning this in my 50s, shut the mouth, Jody. If I'm not sure, let it be okay to not be sure. And if I'm not sure and I don't shut the mouth and I keep talking, I go back and I say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that wasn't right. I overstepped and I wasn't certain. Certainty is big, Dave.
Jody, and for example, I have zero doubt if I'm sitting on your table, zero doubt Jody's certain what she's about to do to me. Zero doubt. You just exude that since chiropractic school. Less experience back then.
Right.
But you can still have certainty in where you are, even if you're a new practitioner, right? You have a level of certainty based on your experience. And obviously with more time comes more certainty.
Right.
And unfortunately, Jody, what we're seeing in a lot of the chiropractic schools is the opposite of that.
Right.
People graduating, that's setting chiropractic up for failure from day one.
Yeah, and if you are not certain, it's okay. It's going to come. And I love what you just said, Dave, about being around people who do have that. Being around people, a lot of doctors ask me to come shadow me in my office, and I say, you know what? I'm in practice so part-time right now because of what I'm doing with Staffless. Come get adjusted. Come get on my table and let me adjust you and experience what they're experiencing, and let me be 100% present with my practice members. That will take you so much further in learning in a short amount of time what's happening here and here while I'm serving. Here's my advice, right? If you are being served by people who don't have certainty around what they're doing, pivot. Whether it's your dentist or your hairdresser or your chiropractor or your best friend, wherever the service is coming from in your life, whatever that support looks like, even if the certainty is, I love this person, Dave, I love you, and I'm going to give you the best version of me while I'm sitting in the seat of being your friend and listening. I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that, right? Where else do you want to go? What else have we not talked about that you really want to talk about, Dave?
I was thinking about this a lot. I'm going to change the word because it was something that Arnold taught me, but I'm going to change the word for not a swear word. Okay. So
Yeah.
he used to say to me, David, don't blank it up, right? Don't blank it up. And I used to ask him, Arnold, what do you mean by that? And he's like, you'll figure it out someday. So I figured it out about 10 years later, Jody, after meditating on it for so long and everything. And it's this. If you got up today, you're blessed. You're alive. I mean, you could not be alive. You could not be on this planet anymore, right? So literally, you have this life that was given to you. You have a purpose if you're in you're in service of chiropractic, for example. How can you not give this your best? For yourself and for everyone you're serving. Like, I mean, and there's a lot of mediocrity out there just because people aren't willing to go the extra. Like my mentor Wayne Dyer used to talk about, so you want to have an extraordinary life, you have to do the ordinary. You have to go get your driver's license and all that.
Right.
But you want an extraordinary life, you have to step into the magic, step out of your comfort zone. No one's judging you, and who cares if they do? Like, life is magic when you jump into that unknown and you're like, I have one chance at this.
Right.
Don't blank it up, right? Like, be the best version of yourself. And Jody's going to inspire 1 million people because they connect with her energy, and it's not my energy. And I'm going to inspire 1 million other people because it's my energy. But if you're not at your best, no one gets inspired by the ordinary. Think about musicians you love. You don't get inspired by going to an ordinary concert. No, you go to an extraordinary concert. We got to see Jerry Garcia. Extraordinary, right? You get goosebumps when he comes out, right? And that's the place of the magic. That's where the magic lives, in waking up every day and saying, I'm blessed, I'm alive. This life is magic, but I need to step out into that magic, right? And could be scary, it could be uncomfortable, but everything else is just vanilla ice cream, right? You want all the colors of the rainbow of ice cream, right?
And everybody has that extraordinary in them. Everybody.
Totally. And it doesn't mean, you can't compare. Maybe you're extraordinary as serving 5. It doesn't matter. That stuff doesn't matter. What matters is that Jody is her unique, extraordinary, magical self. That's what I love about you, because you're always living in that zone. Always.
Yeah, sometimes it's inappropriate.
Yeah, but
I love you, Dave. I know you have a meeting in 4 minutes. I'm so grateful that you took time to be on my podcast. I can't wait to share this everywhere. For those that want to find Dave at Serio Life, please find him and connect with him. And he'll always say yes if there's anything he can do for your greatest good. Dave, stay in. Thanks, everybody. Go make the world better with great care. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much, Jody. Thank you, everyone, for watching.